Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Nicholas Atkin, South China Morning Post, SCMP MMA live. It's been over a month, I think, since we've done any live shows, so it's good to be back for anyone who's out there, wherever you are in the world. I am in Phuket, Thailand. I'm in Bang Tao. I'm in a place called Ron's Bungalow, coming to you live from my new bungalow. I don't own it, I'm renting it. But yeah, staying here, not too far from Bang Tao, Muay Thai and MMA gym around the corner, where tomorrow Alex Volkanovski will be there, UFC featherweight champion. Superbon will be there, the One Championship featherweight kickboxing champion, for their grand opening. It's going to be 2 days, 2 nights of fun, Friday and Saturday. If you're in Phuket, if you're anywhere near in Thailand, you need to get down to Bang Tao for this grand opening tomorrow night. It's going to be fantastic, trust me. Although it does clash with One Championship 156 is what we're here to talk about. 156. They have Chris is coming in a minute. Chris Edwards Bailey will be joining me. We're going to be previewing. I am by the roadside, so you're going to hear a bunch of motorcycles whizzing past, I think. It's cool. I'm out on the porch. The sun's out. The guns are out. Not really. I have been doing some fun classes at Bang Tao, but I'm back for business. We're here to preview 156, a stacked card. I think I'm really looking forward to this card. Some really good fights on it. Not as stacked, obviously, as 1X was last month, but I think One has done a really good job of putting a card together. We did lose one fight, which is a shame. Rug against Buchecha is off. Heavyweight fight. It's a shame. Rug, it seems, is injured for the second time when he's been paired up with Buchecha, and that fight has now been postponed, I heard, till May's card. I think it's May 20th, which will be the card with the flyweight Muay Thai Grand Prix, as well as the submission grappling debuts of the Ruotolo twins against Shinya Aoki and Gary Tonin. Not in a tag team match, obviously. They are individual submission grappling matches. But that card is shaping up nicely. But we are here to do 156. Return to numbered events for One Championship. It was called One Reloaded at first. Then it was One Ursel versus Sadakovic, which is the main event. Now 156. Make up your mind, One Championship. What do you want to call your events? I'm a fan of the numbered events, but it is a little awkward given that one is a number, the name one. So, yeah, hopefully it sticks. I think it works if you say One Championship 156, but if you say 156, it sounds like an area code or something like that, a phone number. But anyway, it's not about the name, it's about the fights on the card, which are looking very good. And we're going to break them down as soon as Chris joins us. I think he'll be here any minute. He's just setting up his display. So if you're in the chat, anyone who hasn't been here for a while, it has been, 4 or 5 weeks, I think, since we did a live show. I think the lights out card, Gary Tonin and Tan Lei and Bibiano, John Lineker, that was the last live stream we did because I've been gone since then. I've been in Singapore for 1X and then made my way to, Phuket. And then I did about a week in Phuket Old Town. Then I came out to Bang Tao. And then I was going to fly to Bangkok on Sunday to start my journey home to Hong Kong. But just been told yesterday my flight's been cancelled to Hong Kong from Bangkok because of another flight ban. Hong Kong being ridiculous again with COVID. So not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm still figuring it out. I might fly to Singapore and then to Hong Kong. I was trying to go to the show tomorrow, 156, but I don't think they're letting any media in. It's going to be closed to the public as well. So looks like I'm not going unless I get the call very soon because I'll need to plan that. But that would be good if I could head out there for the show tomorrow and then make it a little easier to get home to Hong Kong. Who knows? But otherwise, I'll be here at least until Sunday. Then I'll try and see if I can get back to Hong Kong somehow. But you know what? There are worse places to be stuck than Phuket. It is paradise out here in Bang Tao. For sure. If you've never been, you got to come check it out. I had never heard of Bang Tao before. Every time I came to Phuket, it was always, just the traditional areas I went to. Patong, horrible place in hindsight. But Bang Tao is very, very nice. I could very happily stay here longer. It's wonderful. Beautiful weather, nice people. Beach is about 2 minutes away. Everything you need. Lots of fighters running around on motorbikes. Some really cool people at the gym. I'm enjoying my time here. But anyway, I don't see Chris anywhere, so I'm going to kick off with this preview. We're going to get into it. Again, apologies if you can hear the cars whizzing by. I'm going to share my screen on this. But we know what our main event is. It is. It is, Carlos. It is. Were you the one doing the interviews yesterday for One Championship 156? This is Carlos in the chat here. I think he stepped up and did all those interviews with all the fighters, the pre-fight interviews. So fair play to Carlos. You can see all of those interviews on our channel, SCMP MMA. Go check it out after after this show finishes. But anyway, here is Chris. Chris,
hello,
finally.
Nick. An absolute pleasure to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, you missed my epic intro.
Oh man, I was listening along. I was just setting up.
Okay.
Very recently, I did some big spring cleaning around the house, and I put all my stuff away from my microphone and whatnot, and I had to get them out. But I realized I'd misplaced the wire, so I found that it was underneath the sofa in the end.
That's good. I have the same problem, especially being back on the road. I've got about 5 bags. I don't know where every piece of kit is, and there's so many little pieces I forget which bag I put it in. Like I was just setting up now, I couldn't find the jack for the headphones, so I feel your pain, Chris. Anyway, good to see you. Haven't seen your beautiful face for a long time. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. Absolutely fantastic. Bit of work from home at the moment. Still in Hong Kong. Stuff starting to open up tonight. Everything will be open until 10 o'clock. Thank the Lord. Some kind of return to normality. And apart from that, just been enjoying the fight game recently. Obviously, 1X was an absolute banger. And you know what? We had a great Bellator card last weekend. And then today, to start us off in this part of the world anyway, we had a fantastic PFL card.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little about the PFL. I saw some of the highlights. Chris has watched the show, I think, so we will pick out a few notable results, things like that. But yeah, I'm happy for you, Chris. Hong Kong going back to normal-ish. I still can't get home, but you can have a few beers until 10 o'clock at least.
Yeah, it makes life a little bit better. Everyone's starting to go back into the office part-time now. So hopefully, man, that return to normality would be quite nice. And just be nice to go to like a restaurant or a bar or something after 6 p.m. Do you know, like actually in the evening, like the time you go for dinner.
Yeah. I think I've been gone since December 9th. So I've missed the 5th wave or whatever you're calling it.
Yeah.
So I haven't been there. I know it's been hard for you guys, so I'm happy for you. Very happy for you. To get at least the small pleasures of life back. Although I've got to recommend getting outside and getting back to normal life. Somewhere like Thailand is awesome. But anyway,
100%.
Let's do it, Chris. Let's get into it. I'm trying to figure out all the buttons here. Apologies, is my Wi-Fi terrible? Am I in and out?
I found your Wi-Fi to be absolutely fine on my half.
Okay. I might ask you if they're in the chat to be the comment moderator.
No problem.
Because my computer's a little bit slow, so I think there's a little delay on my end. But as you can see in the banner, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Chris, we know what the main event is. 156. Regian ASL defending his lightweight kickboxing title against Sadikovic. This Arian Sadikovic, it's probably not the most heralded fight on the card. It's not the one fans are looking forward to most, but it is the main event, Chris, and it is a very interesting fight.
Oh yeah, 100%. Sadikovic comes from such a great kickboxer background, fantastic athlete. But then just at the same time, man, you got Regan Ersel. Ever since he's come over to One Championship, he's done nothing but win. He's been fantastic in almost every performance. Obviously, those two absolute demolitions, Nicky Holzken notwithstanding. He's just cool. Comes out with the Surinamese flag. He's got his cool mask on. He's got the best movement. And personally, for me, I think he is pound for pound probably the best kickboxer possibly in one championship right now.
I'll tell Superbon you said that when I see him tomorrow. Yeah, he's coming out here to do a seminar at Bangtao. It's pretty exciting, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be an easy, well, not easy, but I think Ursil's going to get it done, Chris. And where does he go from there, though? Yeah, it's difficult. They have to find him new challenges, don't they? It's could they ever do that? Superbon and Ursil? Find some kind of who would go up or down? I don't know.
I think Superbon would have to go up, but it would be tough.
Yeah, it would be. But someone mentioned that, I think, on our channel. I saw a
Regan Ursil's one of those.
Fan.
He's quite skinny. He's quite lean. He's got that really long body. I think he just has such a big height and reach advantage that I think he would just be able to pick him off. But I think it would be an absolutely thrilling fight.
Well, we'll see what happens. But he's got a Singapore indoor stadium. But I'm looking forward to the co-main event. I see the interest on the YouTube channel. This interview, out of all the interviews we had, which Mr. Carlos Cinco in the chat, he did these interviews. Hats off to him. This one, Jackie Boonton and Smilla Sundell for the inaugural strawweight Muay Thai championship. I'm intrigued by this one, Chris. I'm very intrigued.
Oh, yeah, man. This is such an intriguing matchup. It's so hard to say which way it's going to go. I mean, look at Jackie. Look what she's done since she came in. I think she came in very, very early, 2021. I think she had a fight and then she came back for one on TNT. She had a great win against Wonder Girl. She beat Ekaterina, and then I think she beat Daniela Lopez. So she has worked her way very, very quickly through this division. She's just come in and absolutely gone for it. But then, I mean, you do look at Smilla Sundell and just what an absolute amazing debut. What an amazing KO. I don't know if you've been able to bump into her when you're in Thailand and if she's looking good, but I think this is an absolute barn burner, and I think this is the biggest 50-50 that we have right now on the card.
I think Smilla's in Fairtex in Pattaya, so nowhere near me. I didn't realize how big Phuket is as well, by the way. But I did have a rough plan to go to Bangkok, and I was going to go and try and interview a few people out there, maybe at Marok Force and Fairtex, if timing allowed. I still don't know. Maybe I will. Would love to chat to Stamp Fairtex, of course, and Rod Tang, a few others out here, Denise, and Smilla. And I think Marie Roumet, who we'll talk about later, against Anissa Mexon, she's training at Marok Force. So plenty of Thailand interest in this card.
Very quickly to diverge, and this has been something that's been on a lot of my friends' minds, and I think you can probably best explain it, Nick, and I'll bring up Armin Yunus's comment. Any idea why one championship removed the punchline event names and started to give numbers?
What's going on here? Can you hear that?
A little bit, but it's okay.
I talked about it briefly before you hopped on, that they had changed the name. I don't know any reason why they've done it. I can only think it is. I feel there's a larger movement inside one of kind of changing things, moving towards a. I don't want to say like more professional. They're kind of moving away from what they have been in the past. They want to. They're getting a lot of ex UFC people in terms of on the business side. They're getting a lot of ex WWE people in. In places like PR and backstage, things like that. I think they're trying to get that American business, combat sports business expertise and know-how behind them and move away from what they've been doing for the last 10 years. 1X was great and it capped that first 10 years, but I think they want to make the next 10 years. They want to progress a lot. We see that with their move into the US, and this TV deal is announced, I think, next week. I think it's just all part of that. It's like a rebranding. I think a lot of US MMA fans only deal in things like numbered events. It's some of them are a little wacky, aren't they, Chris? You know, some of the names we enjoy them.
Yes,
But
from time to time. I mean, how many have the word dragon in? There's like Age of Dragons, Reign of
yeah,
Dragons,
the
Return of
Game
the
of Thrones.
Dragon, Enter the Dragon. We've got Reloaded. Is what this
They're
was going
hard
to
to
be named. We
remember.
had Enter the Matrix. Well, that's it, right? Because when you go back, I can remember the names fairly well for about 2 years, and then anything earlier than that, I just start to get really, really confused, and I just either say what
Yeah.
month it was in or the location of the city.
Yeah, I think, like you say, there's some of them that are so similar. I do mix them up. I'm obviously going to remember ones like 1X, Century,
Yeah,
New Era. But there's even some of the ones I went to in Kuala Lumpur and Manila. I
yeah,
can't remember what they were even called because it was just change a name. You know, it was like insert
yeah.
a random name generator of words like hero, dragon, power, things like
Yeah,
that.
I think I
So,
went to one that was like Return of Valor, but I'm not sure if that was the one in Macau.
yeah,
I
what
can't
does that
even
mean?
remember. Yeah,
Valor didn't leave. It's him in here all along. But
that's it.
it's I'm up for it. Yeah, I think it's a move. It's just it sounds a little awkward to me to the 1156 I was saying before. You know, it sounds like a phone number. You need 156. Then it sounds a little bit more oomph. I want to watch that. But
Yeah,
I think they're testing it out. Let's see if it's going to work. You know, this event name has changed times in the last 3 weeks. Ooh, what is that? Oh, it's a car. You like my bike, Chris? My bicycle. Can you see
oh,
it?
it's nice. It's nice. It's a nice bicycle. Fantastic. Is that your private
Yeah.
garden, Nick?
No, this is no. It's like a little series of bungalows, but I think I'm the only person here for real. And
Okay.
it's my private garden if I want. But very nice. I might give you a tour later. Um,
Yeah.
big upgrade from where I was staying. But anyway, yeah. Hopefully that answered your question, Armin.
And just to
Don't be
double
jealous
check,
of me.
my pick was Smiller. Was yours Smiller or Miss
Oh,
Bunter?
I'm going with Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Smilla is obviously. I said it when we saw her debut very recently. She looked incredible. I think she's still just 17, right? So there's probably a little bit of room to grow. It is a frightening prospect of where she could end up. I think Jackie is going to have too much expertise for her. It should be a great fight. Wouldn't be surprised if Smilla won.
Yeah, I
But
think Smiller's going to
yeah,
win.
I'm
I
just
think it's
backing with
going to
Jackie.
be a pretty big win, man. And I think a star will be born in a way.
Yeah, well, looking forward to it either way. I think
Yeah.
one will be happy to have Jackie as a champion, I think. But yeah, I think either one of them is going to be a star. Um, there's a lot of simmering feuds in this, isn't there? There's Janet Todd mix, there's
Yeah.
Anissa Mexon. Uh, I asked Anissa about this fight, and she said, "I don't care."
I don't know if Nick is frozen for everyone who's in the chat. He seems to have frozen for me. I don't know if Nick can hear me. Well, he was talking about Elisa Mexit not particularly caring. She just wants to fight for that belt. She just wants to fight for that world championship title. Okay, and now Nick has disconnected. No problem, guys. So from there, we will move on to what is kind of like the co-main event. I mean, look, for most people who are watching this, for most of us who are here in the discussion, most of us are here as MMA fans. And I think really looking at this fight, this is the fight that gets everyone excited. And he is back.
How are we? Are we okay?
Absolutely fantastic, yeah.
Okay.
You froze a little bit, so I don't know what happened, but you're back.
It's weird. I could hear you. Yeah, I don't have the best internet here at Ron's bungalow, but it's we'll try and make it work. Sorry.
No, absolutely no problem, sir. So, what did Anissa Mexon say?
She said, I don't care about Jackie. I want to beat Marie, and then I want to beat Janet and win the title. But I said, well, you want to. You said previously you want all 4 titles in Super Series, so in theory, maybe you're gonna run into Jackie at some point. She said, I don't care. And he said she's very scary lady.
Oh, 100%.
Training in Chalong here at Phuket Fight Team. She is Fight Club. Sorry, she is incredible. Watched a little bit of her training. Very frightening. We'll get to her in a bit.
Yeah.
If we're staying chronologically in this card, this one as well, Chris. Very much looking forward to this strawweight MMA title eliminator between Bokang Masanyane and Jared
Little
Brooks.
Giant.
Little Giant against the Monkey God for the right to challenge Joshua Pasio.
Yeah, this is such an interesting fight. I mean, Bokang's been away for a long time. I mean, I want to say it's been close to 2 years nearly, I think, since the last time he fought. Obviously, he came over. He'd had the EFC title before. He went over, fought in Japan and Pancrase, and then he absolutely burst onto the scene. Had a really one-sided domination of Sawada. Then he had probably the knockout of the year in one championship. Probably still my favorite one championship knockout of all time against Rene Catalan. First round, 30 seconds in-ish, and just absolutely sent the man to sleep. And then you've got Jared Brooks on the other hand, who's just come in and been an absolute storm. I mean, almost everyone I know has kind of anointed him already champion or already at least fighting for a title. He's been looked on a collision course since the moment he came in. He's dominated everyone. No one has offered him really any resistance. His wrestling seems to be on another level. And that's it. So, we've got an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, and I think we are in for fireworks.
Yes, Jared says he thinks this fight is going to be harder than the fight for the title. If he wins this one, he thinks it'll be a harder fight than having to take out Joshua Pasio. Who's to argue that? I do think people are sleeping on Pasio a little bit. He's no mug. He's an excellent fighter. But I don't really know where to go, Chris, on this one. I'm torn. I'm in the middle. I think the
This
Monkey
is one of those
God.
fights where the real winners are us, the fans, and the real winners of one championship. I think either way, we're probably going to see these guys with their age profiles, with their abilities anyway. We're probably going to see these guys fight again, I think, in the future. Not over 3 rounds. Next time, probably over 5 rounds. I'm just going to back just to edge it out. I'm going to back Brooks because I just think he has a little bit more of that wrestling base. I think he can turn it into a little bit more of a wrestling match. I think if there's a close round going into the last minute, he can always shoot a takedown and try and control him on the ground for the last minute and just edge it with the judges. So as I think it's razor thin, I'm just going to push it a little bit more towards the guy who I think just has the slightly more rounded skill set. But this could go either way.
I agree with you 100%, Chris. I know I do that often. It's because you're so smart and you're such a good MMA brain. So I think, I'm edging to Jared for a decision. It's going to be a tough one, though. It could be very close. Could go either way. I think Jared will get it done. And it could be fight of the night. Who knows?
Oh, 100%. 100%, I think, in the 3 fights we've just covered, I think we're going to see some bonuses.
Yeah, I think we will. Our man in the chat thinks that Bokang is going to get another highlight reel KO, though, Chris. Do you think Jared Brooks could be finished in that way?
I think it is a possibility. It always is, particularly someone with Bokang's athletic power, fast twitching muscles, just an absolute beast. But you know what? I mean, when you do look at the numbers that next to their names, you're talking quite a large differential. I know Bokang obviously in EFC and Pancrase, but I just think Jared Brooks has just seen a little bit more, fought a little bit higher level of opponents. He's been around been around in Titan FC, been around in the UFC, over here in one championship now. I just think I'm going to edge it that he's just going to have a little bit better fight IQ. Because
Okay.
obviously the Bokang we're getting now is not the Bokang we're going to get when he's got 15, 16 fights under his belt, right? He's just going to get better and better. So Jared's kind of already at that point.
He said something interesting as well in the pre-fight interviews. You can see it on our channel. He wants to be the first champion in a major global organization from Africa, but who has stayed in Africa, Chris, and not left. And it's not a slight, I think, on people like Francis and Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya. He just means it'll mean something to him personally to be the first champ who is training in Africa and staying there. Africa. What do you think of that statement?
Yeah, man, I think that's absolutely wicked. You've been saying it particularly for a really, really long time. Just all the talent that is out there in large parts of Africa. Um, this is a huge, huge continent, loads of different countries. I think it can inspire a lot of people. I think it can also teach people that there's good coaches all over the world. And you know what? You might see some really good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coaches, some good Muay Thai guys from Thailand who think, oh, I want to take my specialty to that part in the world, in the same way the Hickmans have took their very, very American folk style wrestling and kind of exported it out to Thailand. You'll see people go, oh, I like what they're doing over there, and that we'll get people move over there. I mean, if you're ever in the UK and you go to almost any big MMA gym, whether it's a Team Cowbon or London Shoot Fighters, you've got guys from Thailand, guys from Brazil, guys from America, guys from all over the world, man. And even here in Hong Kong, me and personally, there's actually a few South African coaches over here.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Hickmans, by the way, great chaps. Happy to be around them. They're so fun. Frank got back earlier this week. He was cornering Alex Volkanovski for the win over the Korean Zombie. He's a machine, Chris. I mean, he had something like 4 different flights, Frank Hickman, to get back here. He hasn't been here for about a year. He's been staying in Sasha Palatnikov's house in Las Vegas for 7 months for doing the Ultimate Fighter and then this fight. And then, as soon as he got back, the next morning he's in the gym. He's doing like a insane fitness class, and then he's teaching his wrestling class. Sorry, go ahead.
The one question I want to ask is, are the UFC letting him keep all his own air miles? Because he must have a fair few now. You can probably get a few upgrades.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to hopefully speak to him. I asked him if we could do an interview. He said he's a very nice guy. He said, yeah, sure. Probably tomorrow. I'll get the full breakdown of his trip. He told me it was insane. I don't know how a man can do it. And he wasn't. I would have been jet lagged for 2 weeks after all that. He was up sweating straight away. Great guy, leading by example. But anyway, let's get back to the card. Liam Harrison, Chris, against Muay Thai PK Saenchai in a bantamweight Muay Thai fight.
I think this is going to be absolute fireworks. Me and Liam Harrison. I mean, has he ever been in a bottom fight? I don't think so. It's going to be elbows. It's going to be knees. It's going to be absolutely everything you get from a Liam Harrison fight. And you know what? I'm going to be a little bit of a patriot. I'm going to put on my UK cap, and I'm going to back Liam Harrison all the way. I think this is a man with one last run in him.
Yeah, I think Harrison will win. I wouldn't be able to give you much of a detailed breakdown, Chris, but my gut says Harrison. Like you say, though, I think it's going to be fireworks. Looking forward to this one. And I really think I got the sense, Chris, in 1X that, one is starting to find the way to mesh all of these different combat sports together in a good way and to get people interested in all of them and to make them really complement each other. I think the submission grappling, the addition of that has also helped. And it is now a kind of place of one championship. You know what I mean? It's the home of martial arts.
Here's a little bit of a question for you. I had a friend say to me they don't mind the submission grappling, but they said just don't put it on the main card. What do you think about that?
I think there is a huge niche audience for that. And I think what I like in this regard is that they have changed the rules now going forward, that there can be no draws. It's going to be whoever has the most legitimate submission attempts will get the victory. So I think that was the one thing where I thought, I like these submission grappling contests, big names, famous people, but sometimes there were 2 draws, right, on 1X, 2 big hyped
Yep.
up submission grappling matches. So let a winner, let's incentivize it. I think Chatri was doing a bit of a nod to like, look, here's 50K for Danielle because she tried to win that match. I'm gonna make sure everyone who comes in to do these knows that they should go for it from the first bell, and then they might get some money. I think they should be on the main card though, if it's a big enough name. It's depends on who it is, but that's the thing. There's so many fights on this card I think should be on the main card. They're not. I don't understand why Anissa Mexen is not on the main card, and she doesn't either. She was pissed, man, when I spoke to her about that. But she just getting on with it. You know, she knows if I win this fight, I'm probably getting a title shot. So everyone can't be on the main card. I'm sure they have their reasons for not putting people on. Everyone's going to argue about it. You might be right. They might be better served on prelims and things like that. But anyway, shall we continue? There's AH in the chat. The boys, what's up, AH? Grant Sanders asking, when will one championship announce the judges' names when it comes to split decisions? I don't know. I feel like they have previously. It's not anonymous. They have said who judges are, so they're not keeping it secret.
Yeah, they usually do at the start of the show, right? Don't they usually do it at the start of the show? They generally don't do it for every fight, right?
Yeah, I do know some of the judges by name, so I don't think it's something they're keeping hidden and mysterious. But if you'd like them to have judges' names when it comes to split decisions, we can talk about that. We can debate it. I don't know. Would you like to see that, Chris?
It doesn't really bother me. I think the information is out there if you want it, right? It's on the scorecards, not scorecards, but I think you can find it on the website and whatnot. Yeah, I guess so, man. I'm all for transparency, right? More transparency is better for one championship, I guess.
And Dark Sid asking, you guys know what the deal is with Arjan Buller? Thanks for reminding me. I was going to actually bring this up. Yeah, so he put out a couple of posts, hasn't he, Chris, on social media, saying he's hinting at something big announcement is coming. I don't know, because it's him. I'm not taking it as read that it's a fight announcement with Anatoly Malikin, but I do know. I think Chatri came out this way recently to speak to Anatoly, and the time would match up if they've locked that match up. And I do know that one is putting on an event here in Bangkok nearby in June or July, so the timing matches up. If you're thinking about a fight camp, and if Arjan Buller is making social media posts saying big announcement coming, it looks like we have our heavyweight title unification fight, Chris.
Yep.
Who do you think is going to win as well?
That's the dream. I think that's the big one, man, and nothing more we need. And you know what? Like, love Arjun, love everything about him. Think he's great for the organization, but you know, this is the heavyweight division, man, and you know, particularly when you've got some of the issues with the talent in Bellator, when you have some of the issues with just inactivity in the UFC, this is a really, really good chance for the one championship to be having its heavyweights fighting. We've got Buchecha. We were supposed to have Buchecha versus Rugby on this card. We've got all this great heavyweight talent they've been signing the last 2 years. We just need to get it all rolling again because, you know, heavyweight fighting is where it's at. It is the blue riband. It does bring casual viewers in.
Yeah, very sad the Buchecha fight fell off the card. Hopefully, Buchecha did say it's going to be next month, so we should have that for the card with the Grand Prix and those submission grappling matches with the Ruotolo twins. Hopefully.
Dark Side saying that bank card is going to be Russia versus the world law.
Yes, that is. I think that's going to be it. Yeah, because obviously Singapore is not letting one bring in or have. I think they can't have Russian fighters competing on the card.
Yeah.
So one championship has kind of pressed the fast forward button on putting on events outside of Singapore. Bangkok obviously makes the most sense in that regard. I think it's very close to Singapore. It is a lot of fighters who are Russian train out here in Thailand, so it is very, very smart to do that. I think we'll see that in June, July. Hopefully, it's around about the time the UFC does their card in Singapore. I might be able to get another another little trip going out this way. Who knows? Although it's proving hard to get back to Hong Kong. I don't know if I can handle that again. Yeah. Okay. What were we talking about? The card. Shall we move on?
Yeah,
Let's go.
We'll do these next two super quick. I think Rui Chen versus Ming Jong Song. This is a pretty even one, actually. I think it should be good. Ming Jong Song, Road FC alum, came through really nicely through the Warrior series. Had that one setback, but won his most recent fight against Teal Tang. Has all the everything behind him. Then you got Rui Chen, got it back. He's always looked absolutely fantastic. It is a little bit of a 50-50. Which one are you going for on this, Nick?
I'll go with the Ghost.
Yeah.
I am the South China Morning Post, you know, Chris.
That's it. That's it.
No,
yeah,
I think he's going to have enough to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think he's probably just going to edge it. But I think it's going to be close, and it is just another fight of the night contender.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bonus there. And as well as this one, we got some real strawweight bangers on this card, Chris. It is a bit of a Namiki Kawahara and Daniel Williams, Mini T. This is going to be good. A lot of play in this division. It's going to be an interesting night for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is going to be a little bit of a banger. It's all for play. Everyone's playing for rankings. I love it. I love it when you get a few guys from the same division on the same cards because it always helps to order everyone. It gives you really nice direct comparisons. I think this also has the potential for a bonus, but I fancy Daniel Williams to get it done. I just like everything I see about him. I like the way he talks, and he's just a proper student of the fight game.
So is this correct? Is Namiki training in Alpha Male? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Mr. Faber is really collecting a good group of Asian fighters out there, isn't he? I think he sees where the future of the sport is based out here, perhaps, especially with the UFC coming out back to Singapore.
100%. And also as well, it probably makes really, really good sense because obviously Alpha Male kind of does very much cater towards those lower weight classes where over here it's just an absolute abundance of talent, particularly, obviously between strawweight and particularly featherweight. There's just an absolute abundance of talent in this part of the world.
Yeah, and here we go, another fight in this division. Yosuke Saruta against Gustavo Balart, our favorite fighter, Chris.
Man, you know what? One championship. I followed them on all the social media. They love making any content about Gustavo Balart. The Gladiator, do you know what I mean? He is just an absolute king. Great wrestling, great striking, an all-around good guy, man. Like, just seems to have fun with everything he does. Seems to enjoy fight game. The only thing he doesn't seem to like is losing. But I think Gustavo Balart, I think he's turned it around. I think he's turned it around a little bit more right now. I think he's kind of calmed down, slowed his approach, worked a little bit more on his strike and defense. And I keep saying, man, he has a run in him. He has a run in him. And I still think he's going to fight for a title.
I love him. He's entertaining, though, Chris, isn't he? Every fight he has, there's always stuff going on. It's he brings it every time. This fight was meant to happen, I think, in February or March. It was cancelled because of a COVID positive, I think, for Saruta. So good. And it was on poor old Gustavo's birthday. He found out the fight was cancelled. There's a really sad video where they give him a cake and then they tell him the fight's off. I wanted to cry for him. Very sad for Gustavo. But I'm glad to see the fight is back on. Anyway, we have, what's this from Dark Sid? Chatri to show up at UFC Singapore and hit Dana with a chair. Yeah, you got to think one is going to be pissed off, Chris, that UFC's going into their backyard, aren't they? They're putting on
the UFC's globalization, in my opinion. They're gonna. I mean, look, they've got a pay-per-view set for Singapore. October, is it UFC 281? It's going to be in Abu Dhabi. So they've got a pay-per-view in Abu Dhabi. So they've got a pay-per-view in Middle East. There's a lot of talk about them doing a pay-per-view sometime in the UK. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the 12 pay-per-views they have at the moment, mostly in North America, with maybe one or two in Brazil. I won't be surprised if in a few years we have maybe 8 still in North America, 7 in North America, and maybe 1 in Brazil and 1 in Europe, 1 in the Middle East, and 1 over here in Singapore or China.
What I think is going to happen, Chris, they're going to do what WWE did and just get greedy, and they're going to have 15 pay-per-views. There'll be 12 in North America, and there's going to be 1 in Singapore, 1 in Abu Dhabi, 1 in Wales. You know, they're just going to want more money, and people are going to pay because they know people will pay. It's like we see it now with these fight night cards, Chris. They're being diluted. I mean, they're always entertaining, always good to watch, but they're not what they used to
There
be. Pay-per-views
has
are getting a
been
little thinner.
a very, very big drop, but sometimes I think it's that drop in quality, just also because the quality absolutely increased during the pandemic, because that is true. Fight night cards did get better, I felt, during the pandemic.
They did at the beginning, yeah, and
Yeah.
then, but you always used to have a great main event at least. Now we're getting main events, which I'm not knocking the fighters who are doing them, obviously, but it's not like a star making. It's not something you're like, oh, I've got to see that fight. Like Jessica
Well, usually
Andrade
the main
against
event,
Amanda
the
Lima.
co-main events would be maybe at 2 top 5s and 2 top 10s. Well, now we're seeing the main event be 2 top 10s and 2 top 15s.
Yeah, people will watch it though, and
Yeah.
it's weird because you could have someone like One Championship on a card of complete bangers like they did with 1X, and people will prefer to talk about a fight night which had comparatively less good fights on it. And that's such a difficult thing for any MMA promotion trying to break in to the UFC. Just has a hold on this whole thing. I don't know if it'll ever change. I think people like One, Bellator, PFL deserve a bit more recognition than they're getting at the moment. But anyway, what are these comments? All right.
What's your
my
favorite snack from 7-Eleven in Thailand?
I tell you what, Gordon. Since I got to Bang Tao, I'm trying to actually be healthy. I've been in the gym here, the new Bang Tao MMA gym, the Hitman Brothers new gym. I've been eating well. I've been avoiding the beers, so I'm on a bit of a health kick. So I'm not having any 7-Eleven snacks really. I'm gonna. I've only got a Family Mart as well, not even a 7-Eleven. But when I go there, Chris, I'm getting a couple of big bottles of water, maybe a Diet Coke. I'm not getting any snacks. I'm trying to live a good, healthy life as long as, because it's a nice environment. But I tell you what, Gordon, I did get some Pocky, what's it, green tea flavored, matcha flavor. That was very good. I got that last weekend. So I'll say that. But anyway, what's up with the TV deal? Asks Dark Sid. Way past mid-April. Yeah, I spoke to One about a week ago, and they told me it was coming within 2 weeks. So I guess that time frame is still on. I do know the whole company is geared towards that right now. All their efforts are going into that. What it is, I really don't know. I'm Tom Taylor. He thinks it's going to be the Zone, just as a guess. What do you think, Chris? Do you have any bets?
I think the Zone is probably a very good move. I think it's a great move for them. But I think it would be a little bit of a letdown. But it all really depends. I mean, the Zone is fantastic, right? Because it's global, right? So you just have to negotiate with a single person, ideally for every market. It is a very good way. So what you can do is, obviously they've got their Asian TV deals, but they can do a deal with the Zone in the USA, and then some of their events in Europe. If the Zone want to put them on and they're doing good numbers, they can put them on there as well, or etc. etc. Just gives you a little bit more advantage, right? Because obviously, if you are with TNT and you're going to show in the UK, right, on YouTube, you can't really just move it over to like BBC or something. But if you are with the Zone over in North America and you've got like a Liam Harrison fighting, for example, is it worth sometimes maybe the Zone just even adding the highlights to their library to the UK and just picking up views that way? I could see it as a very good move, but it's really tough to say, man, because it could just end up being some really, really small TV channel.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, as they
Because
say.
we never got
Looking
numbers on
forward
the
to it.
pay-per-view numbers, right?
No, that's a long shot. They were never going to release any data, I think, unless it was astounding. I asked Chachi, the presser. He just said, "Yeah, we're breaking all records." But
I mean, your first pay-per-view is going to break all records.
Yeah, exactly. But let's go. A few more fights. Just want to pick out here. Andre Stoica against Giannis Stofridis. Giannis obviously had that brilliant knockout, didn't he, last time, Chris? Where
against Isaev.
Yeah, they both fell down at the same time. Spectacular knockout, spectacular finish. I think he got a bonus for that, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Who you got here then? Giannis. I'm going with Giannis.
I'm actually going with Andre Stoica on this one. I just think he's got a little bit more about him. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. He's been there, done it all, seen it all. People forget, obviously, he had that great knockout. But before that, I think he was on like 4 or 5 fight skid over in Glory. I'm going to back Andre Stoica. I think he's got a little bit more about him.
Okay. And this one I mentioned briefly already, Chris. Anissa Meksen against Marie Rumey, atomweight Muay Thai. So Anissa, yeah, I heard from a few people they're struggling to get people who want to fight Anissa because she is obviously one of the most decorated strikers on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, kickboxing is her real bread and butter, but she hasn't fought in Muay Thai for 5 years. But it's no hard thing for her. She can slip back into that. She told me she's ready for anything. I'm going with Anissa, obviously, but should a win in a Muay Thai fight get you a title shot in kickboxing? I don't know.
No. No, it shouldn't. I don't think it should have any implications. I think she has to fight the sport to get her ranking. But I think this is going to be very one-sided. I'm going to say Anissa in 2.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Anissa in 2. A lot of support for the Snow Leopard, though, on our channel. So I'm not going to count Marie Rumey out. She trains over in Maroc in Bangkok. So, yeah, I do think Anissa's going to win. I just don't know if it gets her a title shot against Janet Todd. But it's not Anissa's fault. She's been calling Janet's name for a long time, and I haven't really heard anything from Janet. Although Tom Taylor pointed out to me she has responded finally. There's something on One Championship's website, onefc.com. Janet does talk about the Anissa fight, so go and check that out. I haven't actually seen what she said, but yeah, a few people in this chat think Rumey being fed to Meksen, says Darksid. I don't know if it's a feeding time, but I do think Anissa's gonna win. Anyway, this one looks like there's been a change because there is no fighter profile on the website, Chris. I might bring it up on screen. But Woo Sung-hoon against Winston Ramos. Has this changed from what was originally scheduled?
It has not from my records, no.
Okay.
So this one... Pardon, sir.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this should be very interesting. Winston Ramos is a great submission grappler, not in the gi, great in the gi. Great Mundial's record, fantastic. Qualified for ADCC a few times. Only notable organization he really fought in, I believe, was King of the Cage. Only lost his first fight, but I have a feeling when you sign this kind of guy, training out of Checkmate in Brazil and also Alliance MMA, I kind of fancy him. I fancy him to be a little bit of a guy who's going to come in and make a little bit of an explosion and use a bit of that jiu-jitsu.
All right. I think it's just because they must be debuting. They don't have pictures for them yet on the website. A few comments here. Yeah, Carlos is pointing out, Chris, that small gloves, anything can happen. Just ask Nikki Holskin. So he thinks maybe Marie Rumey, she's got a chance. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. Everyone is live. Everyone is live, but it is tough to say.
And Janet Todd might be in the building. That makes sense because Jackie is her training partner, so she might then they might do something, Chris, with Janet and Anissa. Who knows?
That's what I'd like to see, man. That's what we all want to
All
see.
right. Yeah, we want to see it. I'm looking forward to this one as well, though. Ayaka Miura strawweight against Diane Cardoso. Not many strawweight contenders out there, Chris. So I think, yeah, it'd be cool to see another one. Maybe put their name in the hat to fight against.
Yeah, it is a
the
tough
Panda.
one. It is strange, Cardoso. She fought in LFA. LFA is kind of like an unofficial feeder organization to the UFC. Obviously, they never really tried to forward that move. As one championship, we've done quite a few people. Obviously, Tan Lee, James Nakashima. So she must be of some ilk. So it is tough to say. I've seen no tape of her. I've not watched her in LFA, but I'm just going to pick her because I fancy a little bit of a mix-up in this division.
Okay, lightweight Abrao Amorim against Dai Sung Park. Who have you got?
This is another tough one to call. Not much on either fighter, really. Daesung Park obviously fought, I believe, in Road before. He's done pretty good since he's come over. Probably Benario win was probably his best, or the Amir Khan. So he has got a record over here. I think I'm going to back Park, but once again, I'm just not sure if I'm going to be surprised by another Brazilian brought over to one championship because, they do seem to sign these guys who either perform absolutely fantastic or they just absolutely fall apart, as we've seen lately, right, Nick?
Yeah. Aglan Tani's back as well, welterweight, the Alligator against Jin Tae-ho. Looking forward to seeing Aglan again, Chris.
100.
What do you think, though? It's tough. He's kind of up and down always, isn't he? I'm not sure he's gonna. You think he's gonna ever put it together enough again to get back to challenging for a title? I think he fought Ben Askren, didn't he, for the belt?
Yeah, he did, and then obviously, really, that's kind of been the peak of his career. And, in that time, Ben Askren has been the champion, retired, gone to the UFC, retired, fought boxing, and retired from that. So it is super, super tough to say what's going to happen. But it is a bit of a 50-50. I'm probably going to go with Jin Tae-ho.
Okay. And
Yeah,
submission grappling is back again.
6 wins in a row.
Yeah. I'll go with. I'm going to go with the Alligator. But submission grappling. We got right? Mike. Sorry, I'm lagging really hard behind you.
It's okay. Crack on.
All right, yeah. Unless you want anything else to say on this one.
Nope. Let's go ahead.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, Mikey Musumeci against Masakazu Imanari, legend. Not one but two moves named after him, Chris Imanari, and Musumeci of his own right. This is going to be fun, and yeah, there's going to be a winner, whatever happens. No draws.
Yeah, I think Michael Musumeci is going to win. I think this is going to play, obviously, now with this change in rules, it's going to play far more into the actual submission grapplers rather than the MMA fighters doing it. I mean, if we were doing it on points like they do in most other tournaments, I don't think we would have saw Derrida pull off a draw. I don't think we saw Daniel Kelly pull off. I think Daniel Kelly would have got the win as well. Yeah, so I'm just thinking of the point system and the most attempts done. I mean, Imanari has great jiu-jitsu for MMA. But I'm not sure how good his jiu-jitsu is to, compared to an actual jiu-jitsu player like Mikey Musumeci.
Intriguing indeed. And the opening fight,
so
James Yang, the training partner. Yep, yeah, I'm with Mikey as well. James Yang, featherweight against Keanu Suba. He's back. So Demetrius Johnson, Chris, is in Singapore. I think he's cornering James Yang. So interesting there. I'm sure they'll be chatting some business about DJ's return. But James Young, he had his debut a few months ago, got a victory. Are you expecting another win, Chris, for the
Yeah, I
Young
do
gang?
expect another win. I do think there is a reason he's DJ's over with him. I think this guy has a lot of potential, and I mean, I believe he is only 1-0. But I think what a lot of people really need to look at is that he has a fairly extensive amateur record. He has loads of amateur record fights that aren't on his record. I think he's about 6 or 7-0 at an actual amateur fights that are on his amateur record. Yeah, man, I just expecting to have a little bit too much of Keanu. Keanu has had his limitations. Yeah, for me, I'm not predicting a great night for the Malaysian fighters. I'm going to go with James Yang, and you know what? I think he might open the night with a bonus.
All right. That's the card for one. Should be a good card overall. Don't miss it. One Championship 156, Friday night, Singapore Indoor Stadium. Quickly chat a little bit about PFL. I saw a few highlights. Jeremy Stevens lost his debut there, Chris, didn't he, to Clay Collard, who now has wins over Anthony Pettis and Jeremy Stevens. Not bad.
That's it, man.
Not bad at
What
all.
an absolute performance by Clay Collard. Super one-sided. I had him win 4 of the rounds to 1. All 3 rounds. Sorry. Jeremy Stevens, really, this isn't the best Jeremy Stevens, but it's a great opportunity for him to go and win $1 million. But I think right now Clay Collard is just a little bit on fire, and people go over to PFL thinking of an easy payday. Look at Verdum, look at Pettis, look at Rory McDonald. It is not easy to go over there and win.
Absolutely not. What else caught your eye on this card, Chris? I saw Shoeface on Antonio Carlos Jr. got a 29-second knockout. Brilliant, wasn't it? Finish, sorry. Submission, yeah.
Submission, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it was a submission. Yeah, absolutely fantastic, man. This guy is just absolutely amazing. One of the standout stars, really, of PFL last year with everything he went through, and just seems like an absolutely fantastic guy. He did the business. Another fight that I would probably say was my fight of the night was either the OAM, Oliver Oben-Mercier versus Nathan Schultz. Thought was absolutely fantastic. It was quite interesting because all their fight metrics and their smart cage told them that Nathan Schultz had won. Personally, I'd give it to AUM. I believe on commentary it was Chuck Liddell and Kenny Florian. I think they both gave it to AUM and so did the judges, but it wasn't split decision. That and the Don Madge fight were probably the fight tonight. Don Madge versus Rolf Monfillo. That was a fantastic fight as well.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. So, anything else you want
to? Yeah. I'd just say to anyone, probably Omari Akhmedov, Rob Wilson, and Simeon Pole all had 3 fantastic knockouts to start the card off. If you've got a spare 15 minutes, give them a flash through. They're all fantastic knockouts. And you know what? I love the PFL. Obviously, they've got Pettis fighting on PFL 3, I think, in about 3 weeks. So that should be fantastic. But I've just got one thing I want to talk about. Looking at your hat, Nick. One, did you watch Sasha's performance in XMMA?
Sasha won. Yeah, it's good to see him win. Again, spoke to Frank about that. Yes, obviously Frank was staying with Sasha, like I mentioned. Both very happy for him. A tough time since he got the debut win in UFC. 2 back-to-back losses against Impa Kasanganay and Ramiz Brahimaj. Been tough. I thought he'd get another fight there. I think he still had one on his deal. I think, Chris, he seems determined to get back to the UFC. So I don't know. But I'm happy to see him winning and competing. And it was a great performance. He was in trouble early on, wasn't he? And I think these are the kind of fights Sasha likes, where it's guys who are willing to stand and trade with him. That's his bread and butter. The 2 fights he lost in the UFC were to guys who just dragged him down to the ground and 2 submissions. So, yeah, it's good for Sasha, I think. He seems to be happy again. I think he was a little down as you would be after that brilliant first performance in the UFC. Good to see him back, and onwards and upwards for him and all the crew at Syndicate.
100%.
Ramona, she's coming out to Singapore, isn't she?
That's it as well, because Ramona, she does have her nemesis, her opponent as well. I want to say, is it Jocelyn Edwards? Is it the Panamanian lady?
Yeah, Jocelyn Edwards.
Jocelyn Edwards, yeah. Just always remember, because I think she's the only Panamanian fighter in the UFC, so the flag always comes to mind. But yeah, absolutely fantastic for Ramona. Fantastic for her to get a proper training camp, a proper time to work towards. She definitely deserved at least a second opportunity at it, because I just don't think you could someone who comes in short notice, really. Fantastic to be in Singapore, fantastic to be in our time zone. Shame that I'll be locked up in Hong Kong and I won't be able to get to the event. There's a possibility you will be too. So at least I won't have to be jealous watching all your stories at 1X again. So every cloud has a silver lining.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll get out there. Who knows? I would like to. But yeah, very happy for Ramona. She had to cut so much. I think 20 pounds in. It was like even more. Usman. She cut more than he did. Very happy for her. Get a full count.
My problem with those short.
All right.
My problem with those short cuts is always, because she has to cut so much weight in a small amount of time. Isn't she spending more time cutting weight than preparing for a fight? But I guess that's another talk for another day. And I've got one more question from Darkside regarding last week's Bellator and saying, what do you think AJ McKee does now after he's lost to Pitbull? For me personally, I think Aaron Pico ranked number 5, I think, going into the weekend. Obviously, he won, so he might be ranked as high as 4, maybe, or 5 now. I'd love to see him fight Aaron Pico. Personally,
that sounds
I think it'd be a great fight. 2 guys from California, do it at the Staples Center on a really big card.
Yeah, it sounds good. I don't think it takes anything away from AJ McKee. I think a lot of people forgot how good Pitbull was, and they kind of disrespected him a bit. He'll be back. He's very young still. Yeah, 1-1. There'll be a third fight. He'll be a champion again in Bellator. The one thing I would say to Park, some people maybe thought a little bit arrogant. He was talking about, I'm going to go to the UFC. I'm going to make $1 million a fight. I think that's what he was saying. I don't want to get him wrong, but he was also trash talking Volkanovski's win over Korean Zombie. So I would just say, maybe, if this is my opinion, perhaps, just don't focus on that. If he focuses back on his own game again and being a champion in Bellator, not thinking about other organizations, that's probably going to be a helpful thing for us.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, maybe he doesn't even want to be a champion in Bellator. I believe now, because he's not champion, I think he only has 2 fights left on his contract, because he's no longer champion. And when he becomes champion, you get a free fight extension in Bellator. So he could fight an Aaron Pico and then someone else and then test free agency, right?
Yeah, I think he's good enough to go to the UFC. So I don't think you get the money he wants.
No way.
I mean, there's very few who do that. I think Michael Chandler was a rare exception who came in and got a decent payday straight off the bat. Fought for a title within 2 fights, was it? So, but Chandler had done a lot in Bellator. He was multiple-time champion there. So I think, AJ McKee, it's not a bad thing to hang around Bellator. You get good money there, you build your name, and then you can walk into a place like the UFC and command big paychecks there. I'll be asking Volkanovski if I speak to him tomorrow about what he thought of AJ. So we'll see. I'll try.
One quick thing. For CFR TV. The answer is no. They don't really have a division for her.
No, and she's. Well, there'd be no point really, unless she.
The one fight I'd love to see female go from UFC to 1 would personally be Loma, because I think she'd have the right weight division for herself.
Yeah, Loma's out here. I might speak to her as well. She just come back.
Yeah.
I was saying this last night.
If you can ask her if the UFC had a atomweight division, would you compete in that division?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, because I was saying I think if the UFC had an atomweight division, she'd be very close to the top of it.
Oh yeah,
It's her
you put her
wrestling,
straight into the title shot, man.
yeah. It's just the wrestling. She's working on it. I know the ground game, but
But it's just
I
the
don't
same
think.
thing like with someone like Ham, right? Ham just wasn't the right weight class for her.
Yeah, and it's no knock on them. That's why I
No.
think, yeah. But even if she came to one, she can have the same problem, I think, because these atom weights are actually straw weights, and they're going to be
Yeah.
bigger than her. She may be better off someone like Ryzen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's it. What do
quick
you want to?
look. Couple of fights UFC.
Yeah.
Sumu Derji against Manel Cap. I'm intrigued by.
100%. I think that is definitely fight of the night potential. Manel Catman is just such a fantastic fighter, but he just really hasn't been able to put it together.
Yeah, he had a couple of losses to start with. Did get a win. What's he on now, Chris? Because I know he missed weight as well for a win. So it's still like he still hasn't fully proven himself. Is that fair to
Is he
say?
3-2? I think in the organization, or 2-3.
He fights like regularly. I'm trying to find out. My computer is very slow, but anyone know in the chat, let us know. But yeah, a couple of early setbacks. Didn't get the immediate results he wanted, but he's worked hard. They've given him time to turn it around. This would
He
be a
is
big win
2-2.
because
He
2
went
and 2, yeah.
0-2, and then he lost his first two, won his last two.
Yeah, so this is another big fight for him. Sumu Derji has been doing really well. One of the really bright prospects for China. The is he alpha male as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, the Tibetan eagle. Yeah, so this is
Amanda
interesting
Limos.
from
Oh, sorry. Continue.
how. Yeah, I'll just say it's interesting from my perspective to see where Sumu Derji is at because I think Manel Cup will be a real test of his
100%.
credentials. Yeah, I just want to know, is Sumu Derji the real deal? I think he might be,
100.
potential top 5. I'm intrigued. It should be a good fight. Anyway, yeah, what did you say? Limos and
Amanda Limos,
Andrade.
Jessica Andrade. I think it's interesting fight. Andrade is just an up and down fighter. I can't remember the last time she had back-to-back wins, really. And whenever she fights someone elite, she just tends to lose. Because this, if she loses this fight, it kind of relegates her from the title picture for a very long time.
Yeah, she's been up and down, and yeah, I don't know. I still think there's a trilogy with Rose there, right? So
Yep.
if she can get a win here, if Rose beats Carla, if they're doing that, and then, but I think Rose is then going to have to fight a couple other people first, probably. You're going to have Marina Rodriguez is around there. You've got Zhang and JJ are fighting again. And George may have to wait a while, but who knows? Hanging in there. She could do it. She gave Rose a lot of trouble, obviously, in the second fight and the head slam TKO in the first fight. So she can beat her. Anyway, anything else? Clay
Let's
Guida,
do
co-main event, my man.
Clay Guida. Same haircut as you, Nick.
Yeah. I love it. What a legend. I'm glad they're giving him a spot like that, though. He deserves it.
100%, man.
Anything else on the down now?
Yep. One other
Let's
fight.
start the best card on paper.
One fight I think we do have to bring up is being the South China Morning Post is Auri Chilang is on the card going against Cameron Else.
Oof. The Mongolian murderer.
That's it. And Auri, man,
I
I really fancy him in this one to actually go. I think this has great potential as a great fight. And I think he has a great opportunity to win. And I think he should just have a little bit more.
All right, well, that is UFC Vegas 52,
One
I think.
Yeah, one last. I'll say one more. And I'll just say the opening fight on the prelims is himself. He is back. Mike the Truth Jackson from CM Punk fave. So he is back in the UFC finally. He is, after he was told that he would never fight in the UFC again. He is back.
There he is. Well, yeah, it's a card. It is a card.
It is a card.
People are gonna watch
You
it.
are true.
Yeah. Not the most anticipated one for me of this weekend. There's a lot of stuff this week, isn't there, Chris? I think like every major organization is doing something, and there's a lot of things for fans to watch. So not going to be bored, are we? A lot of things going on.
It's an absolutely fantastic time. I just want to ask one thing. Why was Mike Jackson's win turned to a no contest over CM Punk?
Drug test, maybe.
Okay. I can't. I don't know.
I mean, if he was juicing to beat CM Punk, he didn't need to. You know, all respect to CM Punk, who's I watched he had a nice match with Dustin Rhodes on AEW Dynamite, but his MMA career did not take off.
Nope.
So I don't know what happened. It was weed, says CFR TV. All right, there you go.
Okay.
There we go.
Anyway, trying to call it a day?
Yeah, unless anyone has anything pressing to ask us, or if you have anything you want to say, Chris.
Thank you very much, guys. Hopefully Nick will be back soon. When he's in quarantine, we'll be bringing you all sorts of daily content because you won't have much else to do.
Nothing else to do.
But once he is back in Hong Kong, we will be bringing back our special Friday night specials of Fight Companions.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for a companion tomorrow because I'm going to be at this grand opening speaking to Super Bond and things like that. So I'm not sure I could find companion tomorrow.
Maybe we should set up a midnight reaction. Or
that's
tomorrow
better,
or Saturday reaction.
I'd love to do a reaction if you're up for it, Chris. Yeah.
100%.
A day after, or yeah, okay. It's just a little logistically difficult at the moment, but we will bring them back. I know people enjoy them.
And of course, if you like all this content, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this with all your friends so we can produce more of this great content for you.
Yep.
CFR
exactly. We're
TV,
about to hit.
This is called Voodoo.
Voodoo. Yeah. No one knows CFR. It's mystery. But we're about to hit 27,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done it already, hit the subscribe button. It'd be a nice milestone for us. But I've got a lot of momentum now. I picked up a lot of subscribers in the last month, especially from 1X. That Angela Lee video, Chris, 150,000 views on that. Crazy.
Huge.
Yeah.
Is that the biggest for one championship fighter, not Ong La?
She's definitely up there now.
Yeah.
I mean, I wondered if she still had that star power, but I think she clearly does.
I think it's bigger in a way. You know, a lot of people know, like, the pregnancy story it brings another angle and a different set of fans, I think, from what I've perceived.
Yeah, and I think the Thai fans tend to. There was a lot of interest in the fight from Thailand for Stamp Fairtex, and then that interest carries over into someone who beats their fighters. Same with Myanmar. I think Derrida now has a lot of fans who are Burmese. Sorry, go ahead.
My parents, in particular, in the UK, wanted to watch 1X just for that Angela Lee fight. That was what she really wanted to see. Like, that was pretty big. I know a lot of people who want to watch Angela Lee versus Stamp. That was like such a big draw.
They were pushing that angle, the mum champ, and rightly so. It brings in a extra audience. I think, having Angela with the baby in the cage afterwards and the press conference she's holding, Ava Marie, very smart. I don't know if it's her on her part or on one's part, or they both agree, you should push that. But well done to them. Anyway, we're about out of time here. I'm going to go to Family Mart, not 7-Eleven. I'm going to get a nice cold Diet Coke or a Pepsi Max. Anyway, Chris, where can everyone find you? What are you up to? shout
Chrissy
some
B,
things
the
out.
MMA, I'm there on Twitter, spreading rumors and whatnot. No, just having a little bit of fun. You know what? I'm pretty happy the weather's starting to get nice and warm in Hong Kong. I've got myself a nice cold non-alcoholic beer while I do some work. So I'm going to enjoy that. And then I'm going to go out after 6 p.m. for dinner.
Oh, what a novelty. Where are
Yeah,
you going?
man. I think everywhere else in the world you can do this now, just not Hong Kong. So, Italian restaurant, Italian food.
All right. Enjoy it. I am going to probably go do some strength and conditioning class in a few hours. And then I got to sort my life out, where I'm going, how I'm going back to Hong Kong. I will give you updates, everyone. And we'll see you all again next time.
Peace.
I think I pressed the end button, but